Hey people, another historic site here in Manassas that I wanted to document. It's called the Mayfield Fort. Mayfield Fort. Here's a sign here. It's a very historic, very historic place here in it, pertained to the Civil War. Manassas was a very, important place during the Civil War. Here's one of the plaques that. What this is just like the fort name says, it's a fort. Walking up the hill towards the fort, towards Mayfield Fort. Here's a community bulletin board. They have one of the flyers here is for Harris Pavilion, which is, I did a video that showed some of the pavilion they got right now. They got it turned into a skating rink. In the summertime, they have a lot of entertainment there at the Harris Pavilion. They have a lot of entertainment. And then that's not the only place that they have entertainment. They also have bands up and down the streets of Old Town. They in front of bars. They got a lot of bands, a lot of happenings in Manassas in the summertime. It's just a really hopping place. I tell you, really hopping. So I'm gonna keep going up the hill here towards the Mayfield Fort. What they had here is they had gun emplacements that but they were fake guns. They took timbers and they turned them into fake cannons, and they call them Quaker guns. That's what they call them. They put those in to fool the enemy, because this is only 25 miles from Washington D.C. So this was like pretty much the front lines of the Civil War. So I'm gonna going up the hill here, and we'll take a look at all this earthworks up here. Okay, coming up the hill, see another one of those placards. Here's the hill right here that had the earthworks on it. Now DC is, I hope my directions are right, but I think DC is that way. It's east of Manassas, about 25 miles. And coming up to the top of the hill, see a cannon sitting up there. It's a regular cannon. They don't have the fake cannons up there now because they're just timber. They're just made out of timber, the fake cannons. So they do put them up here for if they have like reenactments. They'll put them up here. Okay, over here is where they had the fort. You can see the little ridge that goes here. Little ridge. That ridge goes all the way around the whole earthworks. It's like a big big bowl that's dug out. That's where they had the, you know, this is where they had the gun emplacements, and they had the Quaker guns, the fake guns. So they used this as a, just, I don't know, I think it might have been like kind of like a diversionary tactic that they used just to try to, you know, distract. They used it to distract the enemy. And like I say, this is only 25 miles from Washington, D.C., so, you know, they needed to defend themselves as much as they could. Here's a bunch of plaques. Now, I'm not going to videotape each one of them. What I'll do is I'll take a picture of each one of them, and then I'll place those in the video individually. In case anybody wants to read about this particular site. Again, it's called MAYFIELD Fort. MAYFIELD Fort. Very interesting place. So I'll just do that. I'll walk up here and I'll take pictures of each one of them and insert them into the video, because I'm just piecing this video together anyway. Okay, I got all the pictures taken of all the plaques. Here's a compass. So yeah, I think I was just about right on the direction of DC. It would be that way. That's DC, Washington DC, facing that way. And here's the south, obviously. South facing that way. And you have a cemetery over here. The owner of this property, I can't remember his name. I'll have to get over there and we'll take a look at this cemetery, because this was, I believe this was a plantation at one time before the Civil War. So, and here's these condos over here. I used to live there for 8.5 years. I lived within 2 blocks of this location in those condos. And here's looking out, you know, over the horizon. And back during the Civil War, you didn't have all these trees. This area, this Northern Virginia, it didn't have near as much trees. There was like large fields. It was like more of a rolling tundra, you know, without near as much trees. So yeah, they could look very good. They use telescopes and stuff to spot the other enemy. And out there, it's like Route 29 that comes from DC and goes out through Centerville, and out there the Stone Bridge is out here somewhere out on Route 29. You got the Stone Bridge, the Stone House, and out where they had the main battle was out there on along Route 29, out of Gainesville and Centerville. And then over here's the cemetery. We'll go over there. I'm gonna stop the video and then I'll start it back again. Okay, coming up on the cemetery of the landowner here where this fort is. I'm gonna stop the video again, take a picture of that plaque which explains this site. Okay, here's the cemetery. It was just a little bit of commentary on it. You can read the plaque, but the landowner, his name was Who. His name was Who. There he is right there. There's the cemetery, and here's the cemetery. They owned that man, Mr. Hughes. He owned a lot of of this property in this immediate area. And here's the graves. I'm not going to explain which one's which, but Mr. Hughes and his family are interred in this cemetery. It's very old, you know, Civil War era cemetery. Yeah, this is the cemetery of the Hughes family. Mr. Hughes. They I'm not sure, but I think the Confederates kind of took over his property during the during the part of the war. They took over his property, and he had to leave because. But I can't remember. I think I read the history, and you know, you can see what it says on that plaque. I don't really have time to go over that, you know, thoroughly, but you know, if anybody wants to look up the history of this you know, this area, this Civil War site, then just look up Mayfield Fort. It's called Mayfield Fort in Manassas, Virginia, and I think it's very interesting history. Like I say, I mean, this is very close to D.C., you know, which was the capital of the, you know, the Yankee capital, and this is only 25 miles away, and it's, you know, it's some of the front line areas for the Civil War. So there's not really anything else to this site, just a little field that was part of the property of Mr. Hughes, but I think he owned a lot more property. You know, back then he owned a lot more property, and so yeah, that's it, everybody. I thought this would hopefully be interesting to people. I'm kind of a Civil War buff. I did some earlier videos when I was living down in Spotsylvania. Of some there's a Confederate cemetery down there. I took a video of that. Maybe I'll put it on this channel, or yeah, something like that. But I don't want it to be too much about other topics, because my main thing is, you know, van life, but that's something that I'm slowly working on, trying to build my minivan into a camper, and then, you know, who knows, I might take some trips. I don't know. See what happens. But thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Take care.